All right, today we're taking a deeper look into the verse known as Dies Irae. Now, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. So we're going to take a deep look into that and the verse itself. This is because that's what Jamari Luke would like to know, and thank you for supporting me on this level. It means the absolute world. So strap in, get ready, because we got a lot to go over when it comes to this story, because there's just so much to it. So let's get into it. Alright, so the story itself, there are multiple stories. The anime never fully covered the whole entire thing, the whole entire visual novel or anything like that. There's characters that we do not see in the anime that are present in there. So, this story here is all created by Mercurius. Now, if you guys don't know, this is Mercurius, the Hado god himself. So, he is on the throne. He is above all concepts. Reality, space-time, he's just transcended all of that, and he views, this is stated in there, he views the singularity as a speck of ink on a piece of paper, and the singularity is basically the infinite multiverse of the verse. That's pretty freaking insane. That just shows you how busted this guy is. And he has all the hacks, all the resistance that you could think of. Now, he sets all this in motion. He sets that whole thing. He creates Ren. He has Reinhard, who's basically almost like his right-hand man in a way. He's like one of his great friends that he meets along the way. Now, Mercurius sets all this in motion because the idea that he has is he is in love with this particular character. Now, this character is known as Mary. So he falls in love with her the first time. So he creates this whole thing in order to get her to kill him so that she can then succeed him and take the throne and basically rule over everything. Which then brings us to Ren Fuji, who is the main protagonist of this that follows. And many people believe that Mercurius is very fond of him. Mercurius sees him as his son, but he is also not very fond of Ren as well. So he gets Ren and Reinhard to fight, and everything's all set in motion just so that he could die because he had been, longing for that death, and he needed Marie to do it and so that she could do it, which eventually is what happens. So she then does become that, and Mercurius is killed by her. She grants that request. So now when it comes to Hyjin, this man here, he is very selfish. He only thinks about himself. He wants to be isolated. That is his dream, is to create the law where everyone is selfish, everyone thinks about themselves, and his true desire is to be left alone completely. However, he can't do that because he has a tumor, which is actually his twin brother. So he can never ever truly be alone because he has this presence always in there, which plays a huge part in his character. Now, Hyjin sees the whole entire verse as his own body. That's how arrogant this guy is. Now, what happens is he mistakes his brother's remnants for the touch of the fifth heaven, which then allows him to forcibly take the throne, which he slaughters Marie, Reinhard, and Mercurius before they could even react. He slaughters them straight up. He only spares Ren because he does not even acknowledge Ren Fuji's existence. That's the arrogance of this guy. He just does not even see that. So the only person that survives is Ren Fuji, who is then known as Tenma Yato, I believe that's how you pronounce it. So, Hyjin's heavenly eye. Now, this is capable of observing future possibilities and recognizing higher planes of existence. His insight is the best of all of the gods. So, already you can just see that Hyjin, we talked about Mercurius. Mercurius was busted. This man's on just a whole nother level. He is just the arrogance and everything like that. And that's why whenever you hear people say whether or not Hyjin decides he's just going to, nuke himself, because obviously the tumor there is playing a part in his character where he just wants complete silence. He just wants to be left alone. So he is willing to just nuke anything and everything, which is kind of crazy. And his law that he creates over everything is affecting everyone and making everyone be selfish and kill everyone, which shrinks and shrinks and shrinks the multiverse. Now, Ren is the only one that is saving that by stopping time in a particular area that slows the process of this happening. So without Ren there, Hyjin would have wiped out the entire verse very, very quickly in the matter of days without even doing anything. Now we get into the power stuff, which is the Taiko Yuke. I'm pretty sure I might have butchered that. It's very hard to pronounce. Sorry. Anyway, this is the power system within the actual verse itself. So each one allows you to become one layer above all of reality existence, and you're basically able to paint all of creation as if it's a canvas, which is kind of crazy. So when you get into the different types of value each one has, so we start off with, obviously we have Reinhard. So this man at his peak has a value of 90. So he's transcended it 90 times, which is freaking crazy when you think about it. So he's 90 layers above it all, which is just crazy to think about. So him and Mercurius are both at 90. Now, the big thing about this power system is if you have more value than the other gods, you are instantly guaranteed to win that battle if you ever fought it, which is why Hyjin is able to just speed blitz all of them. Alright, so when we're speaking about Renfuji and his value, now he is less than 90 when he is fighting Mercurius, when he is fighting Reinhard. However, as the series goes on, and then we have the moment where Hyjin just wipes everyone out and spares him because, obviously he's arrogant, he doesn't give a shit about Renfuji. Renfuji then becomes Tenma Yato, and his value becomes 100. So he then transcends 100 times, which makes him one of the strongest in the verse. Now, Marie, she transcends and becomes less than 90. So she's just below Mercurius, but obviously Mercurius allows her to kill her because that's what his ultimate goal was. So when we're talking about this man Hyjin, this man has immeasurable value. So you could just imagine that. Immeasurable. No wonder why this man was able to just speed blitz them all when they couldn't even react. They had no idea what was going on. So this man here just showcases you just how powerful he truly is. Now, there is a story where he does lose. In one of them, he does get defeated eventually. And then Mercurius is on the throne and he must find a way to stop him from reincarnating and coming back from so that he can never do it again. So there is that story. But this whole entire verse... So this is just one of the stories that is in this gigantic verse known as, you might have heard as, the Mazda verse. There's that, people call it that, or, the Shinza Bensho verse. So there's multiple stories and everything like that, and there's just so much in here. It is definitely worth trying to find and read if you can find the visual novel and stuff like that and dive into this story, because the characters are very complex. Now, the anime never did it justice, but let's just wrap this up in conclusion. So everything that I've just said, let's wrap this all up right here. So this story here is an event that Mercurius created in order for Marie to kill him so that she could then transcend and take the throne. These two fight. Mercurius then joins in the fight. He declares Ren the winner. Maria doesn't want to kill Mercurius, who is madly in love with her. Then it comes a time where she does eventually kill Mercurius. She then transcends the throne. There's one where Hyjin just wipes them all out without them even knowing. So there's multiple stories in that. Definitely worth checking out. So I hope this video explains a lot more detail than what some people might not have done. I'm sure there's other people who have explained this in more detail and stuff like that as well. There's just so much here. So hopefully I gave you a little bit more understanding of the system in there, of just how powerful the Hodo gods are. Like I said, man, they transcend all reality, time, and concept and everything like that. They view the singularity as a speck of ink on paper, which is the entire infinite multiverse of the verse. That's how powerful these characters are. They're no joke. They are no joke. And like I said, they have plot manipulation, stuff like that. Mercurius controls this whole entire plot. So hopefully that answers your question, man. Thank you for supporting me on that level. And yeah, let me know your thoughts, guys. If you guys have read it, seen it all, let me know what you guys are and who your favorite character is.